welcome back, everyone. We're so happy to be back the last couple weeks. Been a little bit busy. One of the reasons we were not here, we told you guys a couple weeks ago, finished the documentary we were working on, led by Cardell, Vaughn Myers. It was Ed Myers, a DC basketball story. Happy to let you guys know it's all available up on our Roku channel. It's really that simple. If you got a Roku television or device, just add the channel. And it is one of the most recent projects that's up there. You cannot miss it. That said, got Octavia Wyatt, Cardo Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. Welcome back to the Focus TV. Season 5, episode 34. Got quite a bit to get through tonight since the last time we talked to you all. But we're going to start with the Mystics, right? The floor is yours.
Yeah, they are coming off a loss against the Connecticut Sun. Man, right now at this point in the season, the Mystics, they're middle of the road team right now, man. They're 13-10. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. They win one, they lose one, they win two, they lose two. It's just peaks and valleys for them right now. And some of it has to do with just the fluctuation of the roster with they're still managing Elena Deladon's recovery. She was out against Connecticut. That was a planned rest game for her. In that game, it was pretty typical of their season. They started out the first half on fire. They went to halftime with a 15-point lead. They then proceeded to go ice cold over the last two quarters. In overtime, they went a combined 7 for 27 in the third and fourth quarters, and that just pretty much spilled the game for them. Connecticut was able to force overtime at that point and edge them out in the extra period. It's kind of the same thing we've been talking about. With the games that Elena's out, their offense it just sputters at times. In the first half, the ball movement was crisp. They were hitting shots. The second half, things just stalled, and that's been the story of the season, really. Defensively, they've been solid and they've been consistent, but at the end of the day, you got to put the ball in the basket, and they struggle with that at times. At other times, they've looked perfect on that end. It's just if the offensive end can catch up to what they're doing defensively, they'll be the team that we thought they would be going into the season. But that's it. They just haven't found a way to make that a constant thing for them, and it's really holding them back from maximizing their potential. But yeah, it's they're a veteran group, man. They got one of the best coaches in the game. I think they'll figure it out, but of course that's up to them. They recently added Evina Westbrook, and that was a solid pickup. She's gotten spot minutes here and there since she's been with the team, just to give them a little more depth in the backcourt. But yeah, all in all, they're in fifth place right now. Still solidly in a playoff position, but yeah, we were expecting them to be a championship contender. But when they put it all together, that's what they look like. But at the times they struggle. It's evident where where their deficiencies are. But at this point in the season, they're approaching the All-Star break, so maybe this this little hiatus will get us some time to recalibrate, and they can come out in the second half firing all cylinders. But yeah, man, the story of their season has just been their offensive inconsistency. If that even improves a little bit, half these games they lost will be in the other column. So yeah, man, I'm pretty sure the coaching staff is in the lab now trying to figure it out. But yeah, that's been a hindrance to them, since the beginning of the year.
All right, moving on to the Kennel League. Cardell, know you and Ray enjoyed taking that in this weekend. You guys did a great job with the recaps. You guys, every weekend that they had Kennel League is going on. It's a great time. We tell you guys all the time, follow the Focus TV and all your social media mediums. Goes a long way, especially with these guys knocking out recaps, especially for those of you that aren't in the gym. That said, Cardell, the floor is yours with Kennel League Standouts.
Yeah, Kennel League return to Georgetown for the first time since 2019. Basically, like everything else before the pandemic, shut the world down. It was, you could tell it's a little feeling out readjustment period going on overall from the staff, from fans coming in, even from Georgetown. I know a big complaint was, the fee for the parking. That's why you ain't see a big crowd or whatnot, because a lot of people are caught off guard. And if you know anything about this area, word travels fast. So simple text, and people's like, we busting a U-turn, we going back home, so they get that fixed. But big shout out to Van Johnson, man. With this show, we made history. We made history. We the first show the broadcast from the Kinder League ever. It started in 1981. John Thompson, those guys wanted something where the guys can play pickup, structured pickup, where they can get better and get ready for the upcoming season. Invite local guys, college and pros to come and play. And it's the longest running summer league in our area, and our most prestigious. You know what I mean? So if you play basketball in this area, you played at McDonough at some point, whether it was in high school or college. Once you got out of college or whatnot, man, you definitely got on that floor at one point in time. So it's kind of a rites of passage. But it was a good week, man. It was a lot of eager players ready to get it on. Some familiar faces, some new faces, obviously. It was just funny to me seeing a lot of the young kids I watched grow up through high school, covering them, scouting them, and stuff like that. And now they juniors in college and stuff, rumbling with the pros and doing their thing, man. So it was a lot of standouts, but we had to narrow it down to a team, 5 players, and this was the selection. AJ Wilson, plays for Clyde, was formerly at George Mason last year. He ended up at South Carolina. He's known for his versatility, high energy, high motor, especially defensively, blocking shots, dunking, whatnot. But the thing I love is he worked on his game. He can shoot now. And he was shooting from mid-range. I'm talking about one dribble pull-ups, from the block, fadeaways, pulling up for threes. And that has opened his game tremendously to the point where now it's kind of, the teams will have to figure out what to take away. I don't think a lot of teams are still sold on their jumper. Like, you had a good weekend, so he's still going to have to continue to hit those to make guys come out and really guard him, which is a man to show because he's so athletic, long and got a lot of length and height. But man, he was consistent all weekend. Clyde went 2-0. It was really easy for them. They pretty much beat the hell out of both the teams they played, man. So they off to a strong start. But yeah, with him, you can tell he's motivated. Look, he didn't get picked up by the NBA, so to speak, G League or whatnot. Maybe he might have a chance later on. But who knows what his plans are? But the way he's shooting the ball, he definitely will have a gig overseas. Next up is Will Thomas, junior at Morgan State. Plays for the Tones. Tones went 1-1, but he was Mr. Consistency. He didn't score less than 20 points in either of the 2 games. I love what he did defensively. He competed, brought a lot of energy, communicating, rebounded the ball well. And, Toons, on Sunday, they had a good game on Saturday. It was a pretty convincing win. But when Brandon Murray went out, he caught a bad elbow, got busted up his eye. And, so he had to leave the game early on Sunday. Will Thomas kind of stepped up. They didn't get the win. And I'm going to tell you why they didn't get a win in the short second. But, he competed and he left it all out there and he tried to carry him best he could, man. So, that really impressed me because they didn't, with him and Murray, they have a lot of firepower. But Sunday, they needed him to step up because when Murray went out, Primo Spears, who's a transfer from Duquesne, he's another Georgetown point guard. He was struggling, and there's a reason why he was struggling. But he was struggling, so Will Thomas, stepped up in that area and, got about 24 points, man. So, and he was trying to defend, do everything he could, man. So I was just impressed by how competitive he was. Moving on, Denver Anklin. Like I said, he's the reason why the Toons didn't get the win, and he's the reason why Primo Spears struggled because young fella, freshman out of Jersey, Georgetown, man, he came out blazing. He came out blazing, man. He was 4 for 8 from 3. And I mean, coming off pick and rolls like a pro, man, just, probing. Hey, dude ain't hedge out or somebody went under the screen, knocked down the 3. They went over the screen, drove to the cup, got it done, made plays, competed. The thing I like about him here is you could tell he's hungry. A lot of cats around here, especially they've been on the scene for a minute. They kind of coming in with the too cool for school attitude. Not him. He came in like I'm in kill mode, and it just so happened he was going against Primo Spears, and that's why Primo Spears struggled. Couldn't get nothing going on him because England was up on him defensively. and then he was torching them on the other end. It was just as simple as that. Young fella, his game has grown leaps and bounds. I saw him throughout high school, playing up there, Gil St. Bernard. They play that slam dunk to the beach all the time. He's grown physically and even athletically. He's always been a shooter and a reliable point guard to run the show. But man, he was coming back doing cocking back two hands. I'm like, whoa, where this come from? You know what I mean? So with all that combination that's going on and how hungry he is, and what I mean by hungry, it's not just that he's competitive. You could tell he's eager to learn. Like the coaches, I doubt would have any problems out coaching him up. It's not going to be any talking back. It's going to be like, okay, and get right to it, where it's no attitude and none of that. You can tell what his mission is. What his attitude is, he's trying to be the best he can be as quick as possible. Because I think he's eyeing like everybody is when they first get in the car. He trying to get to the show, and it shows in his energy and the way he played, man. So look, he just busted up an upperclassman, in his first game in that type of atmosphere. So I know he ain't trying to not do that again. So it was a hell of a start, man. He definitely opened some eyes with his play. Jay Heath, another Georgetown guard. Hey man, they deep at point. They deep at guard, man. They brought in a lot of transfers, signed a lot of guards, man. They're gonna be deep as hell on the perimeter. But Jay Heath is a local kid, played at Wilson, started out at Boston College, then Arizona State. Now he's at Georgetown. He's just a killer. Yeah, he had 30. He had a game. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he had the weekend high of 30 points, and he was trying to body cats. He's just relentless. He's one of the microwave guys where he see a couple go in, he has full supreme confidence where he just start letting them fly from anywhere, and they can go in from anywhere, and that's the problem. So, they're going to have to do something about him because it's looking easy. Even against pros, he's big R, 6'3", about 190. Man, he killing them from posting up, mid-range, three-point range, trying to go in there, like I said, the dunk, catching lobs and transition. He's killing them every which way possible, man. So, and he's getting after defensively. He wasn't always a defender, but now he's turned that up on that end. So that's why they were able to hold on to get the win. And last but not least, Yene Hakeem out of UMass Lowell, who's actually Jay Heath's backcourt mate with the Hoya Blue. Saturday, he had an okay game, and I say okay because he turned the ball over like he can get out of control at times. Sunday, he was in control, and he had 24 points. So between that backcourt, they had 54 points. And he only turned the ball over twice. And he was 50% from three-point range. We already know, like, when he get in transition, his natural ability with his explosion and quickness and, ball handling, his leaving ability, it's hard to stop him. He's going to get the bucket or get fouled, get to the free throw line. He had that going. But what I like about him, where he was under control, when he had any daylight, he was just elevating mid-range runs, floaters, knocking them down from all angles and stuff like that. Challenging bigs, taking the contact, not throwing up a wild shot, getting knocked to the ground. The ref like, come on, man, you ain't have a chance to make it. Took the contact, forced the big to knock him to the ground so he can get to the free throw line, hit his free throws. He was just efficient all around. So even though Jay Heath was going off when the opposing team tried to focus on Heath, they couldn't because he was killing. So everybody had to just be honest and guard that man. So, they pretty much had an easy victory, man. But those five guys impressed the most in the opening weekend. I expected to get more and more competitive. Next weekend, they only have games on Sunday evening. It started at 5:15, and then the last game is supposed to start at 9. Hey, man, they got dumped by women's volleyball, I believe, man. Talking to Van Johnson, like, when you don't win, the teams that are winning, hey, man, they they get the nod. They get bumped up, and that just tells you how Georgetown, the men's basketball program, has been struggling where they get bumped in McDonough for women's volleyball. But it is what it is, man. It's just the time. So we're hoping to change that. But we're gonna see what happens next weekend. Once again, shout out to Van Johnson Jr. for holding us down. Like, he took care of us, great care of us all weekend. All we had to do was do what we do, and it was smooth all weekend. So looking forward to next weekend.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to what you guys have to say next weekend. I can't wait to get up there myself because y'all look like y'all were having way too much fun during the recaps. Felt left out. But look, we want to take a quick break. When we get back, some DC United updates because I haven't talked about them like pretty much 2 weeks. So there's 2 games that have happened during that time. You're watching the Focus TV. We will be back very shortly. Welcome back to the Focus TV as promised. DC United. A lot has happened with the Black and Red since the last time we spoke to you all. As I said before break, they dropped the game in Nashville at home on the 25th. They lost that game 3-1. Last night on the road on the 4th of July, they got a much-needed victory against Orlando. First half fireworks. I've been hearing me talk about Taxi Fountas since he's gotten here. He showed out yesterday. He had a hat trick and a half. 3 goals to himself in the first half to give his team a heck of a chance because Lord knows they needed to get back on the winning side of things, and he did everything in his power to make that happen. He gave them a 3-0 lead. That said, some of the things that have bugged DC United all year long showed in the second half. Orlando City did not go away. 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer. Always feel like you could come back. A 2-0 lead in soccer is like against the 17-18 Warriors, it's like having a 15-point lead. It doesn't exist. It's not enough. All right. You're just a bad 5-minute stretch from looking up trying to figure out what happened to you. That's equivalent of a 2-0 lead in soccer. And that's what made this worse, right? DC United got the 3rd goal. That's supposed to be the, hey, we should be able to throttle down a little bit. But again, if you're this team, you've had the year that you have, you can't afford to throttle down. Orlando City, what it is. You know who you're playing. You've seen them give up leads, regardless of who's been on the field times this year. So Orlando, as a home team, made a couple changes, and they went after it. All right, so by the 71st minute, it was 3-2, just that quick. Orlando City responded, back-to-back goals. The youngster Kermani Smith, he got drafted last season, been playing in Loudoun. He came up yesterday. They've been adding some youth to the squad, obviously. We're going to get into some of the personnel decisions they've made, which is why Kermani ended up with the first team yesterday. And boy, were they happy that he was. The boy came in the 71st minute. 5 minutes later, he scored. And it was to give them breathing room because it's 3-2. You already feel, you've been in this situation a couple times this year. Feel like the walls are closing in. Like, oh, man, we have fumbled games before this year. Kermani, it was a great run. He tiptoed the line to stay on sides. Great pass. I think it was from Julian Gressel. Then you saw why he was drafted. Dumb speed. His first touch was beautiful. Crazy speed. Got out, beat the goalie. And DC United needed just a little bit of breathing room. But again, what have they done this season? Sometimes they just can't get out their own way. In the 80th minute, handball on the right side. Next thing you know, on the right side of the box, and so it's a PK. They do what they have to do in terms of reviewing the play to make sure that it is, in fact, a penalty kick. And it was. Rodriguez de Silva beat Romo. The goalie gets the right side, but it was a beautiful penalty kick. He went upper 90. The ball dipped right underneath the bar, but there was some heat on that. The keeper was not getting to it. For reference, PKs, most of the safest place to go is any corner. A lot of people like to keep it low and away, put some pace on it. But Romo did a great job where he went to take the lower corner away. And it was a really well taken penalty kick. Nigel Robertha came on in the I want to say he came on in the 80th minute. He came on in the 89th minute with a couple other folks. And again, at this point, it's 4-3. And because of stoppage time, which makes soccer such a wonderful game, supposed to be 90 minutes, stoppage time extends things. So they get to the 90-minute mark. There's 7 minutes of stoppage time. 7 extra minutes is more than enough for a lot to go wrong. For DC United, however, Nigel Robertha in the 96th minute, he scored the dagger. He put it away. With 7 minutes of stoppage time, he made sure they won. They would get the 5-3 win. They got all 3 points out the result, which was huge because they definitely needed it. And they're at a place right now is we talked about this with the Wizards at times, looking at the standings in the Eastern Conference throughout the year, where before they fell too far out of it. There was a time where you strung together a couple wins, you're right back in the thick of things. If DC United is able to string together a couple wins, it puts them back in the mix. Because the last time we talked to you, they were literally tied at the bottom of the East, but they have to string together results. The good thing is, unlike basketball, 1 win equals 3 points here. You get 3 wins, you get to leapfrog some folks in the standings. However, you still have to take care of the winning part first. As for Taxi Fountas, I'm going to get this up on the screen for you guys real quick, just to let you know what he's been on since he's been here. He now has 9 goals and 3 assists in his first 10 MLS games. It's tied for the most MLS history with Adam Diamande, Kaku, and Eduardo Hurtado. So kudos to him, man. Again, that's what you want out your designated player. When you spend money to acquire someone to fit one of those 3 designated player spots, that's what you expect them to do. They've got an immediate return on their investment. So kudos to Taxi. Again, back to the personnel side. While during our absence the last time we talked to you guys, DC United agreed to terms with Atlas FC from the permanent transfer of Edison Flores. That happened on June 22nd. Last time I talked to you guys, I told you guys there were rumors about Edison Flores being potentially on the move. That did in fact happen, as he is now playing for Atlas FC. Then DC United signed Chilean winger Martin Rodriguez from Altay SK in the Super League. That's the first division of Turkish soccer. So there's a chance they get to add him to the fold soon, which would help bolster the attack. I can't wait to see what he looks like out there with not only Taxi, but Estrada. Estrada's the other designated player, and kudos to him. He was huge in that game as well. He had an assist. He didn't have a goal, but he was out there working, creating trouble, and putting pressure on opposing teams' back line. So get to see what Martin Rodriguez can bring to the table. And then DC United agreed to terms with KVC Westerlo in the Belgian First Division for the permanent transfer of Griffin Yap, one of their homegrown players. So Griffin is now out of the fold. We wish him the best in the Belgian First Division. Lastly, we're not done congratulating Taxi for what he's done. What he did this week, scoring 3 goals and a half, he was voted MLS Player of the Week this week. Well-deserved. He's the first DC United player to do it since Ola Kamara in 2021. As for the 9-4-50 breakdown, Jamal Hayward had breakdown of 3 different setups for Hezi pull-up threes. Again, a breakdown of 3 different setups for Hezi pull-up threes. That'll be followed by our second break. You're watching the Focus TV.
Hezi pull-up. 3 shots each person. So all right hand push. First one. Right leg Hezi pull for 3. Second one. Off the combo move. So over there. Behind. Back. Hezi pull. Third one. Same side of the sleeve. Hezi pull. So make sure you exaggerate the right foot out on all 3. First one. Right foot. Get the right hand out. Shot. Second one. See behind. Right behind a little bit. Get that right foot out. Third one. Right foot out again. Stand start. Give me the ball. Third one. Nice, good. Face you up. Good. Up. Keep your feet.
I want to thank Jamal Hayward for knocking out the 9-4-50 breakdown this week. Look, we are back, which means we got a little bit of extended rapid fires at time during the summer where it's a little bit of lull before things kick all the way back up to full speed. Like Ray said, we're entering the WNBA All-Star break. Baseball is still being played. Golf is still being played, even though people are defecting from one league to another league. Shout out to them for all of that. But, by the end of this month, you got NFL training camps coming back. If you see NFL training camp, it means you're a couple months away from NBA training camp. NBA Summer League already started. Vegas Summer League started next week. So we're going to take this little break, enjoy extended rapid fire before, this show gets a little bit more packed with stuff. So go ahead, Cardell. Floor's yours.
All right, starting off on the NFL. Brett Favre said Davante Adams is going to miss Aaron Rodgers. Adams caught 238 passes for 2,927 yards and 29 touchdowns the past 2 seasons, earning back-to-back All-Pro honors. That's an average of 8 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown per game. Rodgers won MVP honors both of those seasons. Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre expects Adams' numbers to go down this season without Rodgers as his quarterback. Quote, no disrespect to Davante at all, 0 disrespect. I do think that Devontae will make Derek Carr better, and in time they will be a dynamic duo. Now, will it be the duo that Aaron and Devontae had? Time will tell. I think Derek Carr is a very good quarterback, but he's not in Aaron's league yet. He may never be, and that's no disrespect either. But I do think that Devontae owes a great deal of gratitude to Aaron and the Packers drafting him. That's not to say he's not a great player, because he is a tremendous player, and we'll see that with Las Vegas. But it's just hard to shift gears, especially from a player as prolific as Aaron Rodgers. I'd be shocked if he had the same year this year he's had. That's not to say he can't do it, but I will be shocked. I'll tell you, what are your thoughts on Mr. Favre commenting on that?
I usually don't pay Brett Favre much attention when he talks, to be completely honest. But he's not lying, in my opinion. I mean, everything he said to me sounds legit. I don't think Davante Adams is going to have nearly as a productive season as he had in his previous years. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. Like, let's just be 100%, and especially that you are Aaron Rodgers' favorite or maybe only target that he had. So majority of his passes went to him. So, of course, not saying it padded his stats, but it padded his stats. And Las Vegas is not going to be the same. I mean, Derek Carr is not in the same league as Aaron Rodgers. Let's be 100%. It is what it is, because every year we're wondering if Derek Carr is even going to be still a starting quarterback. You know, we know Aaron Rodgers is if he decides to come back from wherever he is in the offseason and make an appearance to play. If Aaron Rodgers is there, he's the top tier quarterback between the two, of course. So I don't think that he's lying. I'm not saying that Davante Adams won't have a good year, because Davante Adams is definitely special. Maybe there's some type of chemistry that, you know, between him and Derek Carr, being that was his quarterback in college, maybe that will help him some. But in Green Bay, like, Davante Adams was it for a while. And out there in Las Vegas, he's going to have to share a little bit. You know, his name is escaping me right now. The tight end is escaping me right now, but he's gonna warrant some of the passes as well. And so it's just statistically, it's not going to be the same. So it's not going to be that, you know, Devontae is going to drop as far as his skill level. He's not going to have the same volume that he had when he was in Green Bay. And it's just facts. It is what it is. He might still have a really great season and does enough that Las Vegas needs him to do, but it's just not going to be on the same playing field as it was when he was in Green Bay. It's just facts.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much to talk about here. You're going from one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to not one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. It's pretty simple. And it's no disrespect to anybody involved. I mean, you know, even the greatest receiver is only half the equation. Somebody's got to throw him the ball. And when the person delivering you the ball isn't of the same caliber, then it's going to affect you some. That's just how it works, man. So yeah, it's nothing controversial about this. For the first time in a long time, Brett Favre made some sense. And yeah, man, it's pretty black and white to me. Yeah, and it's not saying Derek Carr is bad. It's not saying Aaron Rodgers made Davante Adams. It's just some cause and effect going on here.
Wilson.
Yeah, it's like you said, for him to be right, it had to be one of those Captain Obvious type statements. Where, yeah, like in Green Bay, they force fed that man the ball. So yeah, it's not going to be like that. You're not going to get that volume. Also, I don't think there's any disrespect by saying Aaron Rodgers is not in fact Derek Carr, and Derek Carr is in fact not remotely on the level of Aaron Rodgers. Cool. However, look, man, I'm happy Brett Favre said something that mattered to somebody. I don't know why people keep talking to that man. Whatever y'all want to do, that's great for y'all. How about we focus on like what the Packers have been struggling to do, like currently, like succeed in the playoffs. Like have that discussion. Like how about that? Like that's the discussion needs to be had. I don't care about everything else. Yes, Davante Adams, but at the same time, what do we think's gonna happen with Green Bay without Davante Adams?
Yeah, because I don't know.
That's a conversation.
Who is their first? Who's starting wide receiver out there?
And like Aaron's great, but And Aaron's very good. And like Ray said, it's half the equation. And we've seen people do this at times where they hold up one half of like a dynamic duo and make it way better than the other until, they split up. And then you see like, just like, yeah, Devontae's not going to have the volume. And, bro, you're not going to be able to go 1-2. So what? I'm throwing at Devontae. Like, forget the play. I'm throwing at Devontae. Like, that's going to be different too. So, shout out to Brett Favre for making sense, man. 2022.
All right, staying with the NFL, some more sad news. Boston University researchers say late NFL wide receiver Demaryius Thomas had CTE. Demaryius Thomas had CTE, which is linked to repeated blows to the head, according to an announcement Tuesday by doctors from Boston University who have been studying the former NFL star's brain through the Concussion Legacy Foundation. Thomas was found dead in his Roswell, Georgia home December 9th, just 15 days before his 34th birthday. At the time, his family believed that seizures, which Thomas had battled since a 2019 car crash, might have led to his death. The coroner's office in Fulton County, Georgia, has not yet ruled on the cause of death. Dr. Ann McKee, who was part of Boston University research team, said that Thomas most likely died after having a seizure, a condition not generally associated with CTE. CTE itself does not cause death. You don't die from CTE, McKee told ABC News. What CTE does is it changes your behavior and your personality. Just what are your thoughts on this discovery? The latest in a long line, but it's starting to be a whole lot of these situations where former players, die tragically. That played in the NFL die tragically, and then it's linked to CTE. Let's start with you, Ray.
Yeah, man. Of course, it's just a tragic situation. But yeah, man, I think it's going to have an impact on people wanting to play football moving forward. To be perfectly honest, man, when we were coming up, it wasn't a second thought. Like now, even having kids of my own, like I have a son, and I'm dreading the day if he ever comes to me and says, "Dad, I want to play football." Like being perfectly honest, because I mean, it's literally risking your life. It's a violent sport, and on the other hand, if I get to a point where I decide to let him do that, or if he gets to an age where he just decides that's what he wants to do, we have to assume that risk, unfortunately, and that's a tough thing to wrap your mind around. It's nothing. It's really nothing you can do to prevent it. If you're going to play football, this is a possibility, man. So yeah, it just kind of sucks, man, because some people have a passion for the game, and you would hate for somebody to second guess what they feel like they've poured their whole life into. We've been seeing guys retire suddenly very early in their careers lately. I wouldn't be surprised if these recent medical discoveries have something to do with that. But yeah, man, it's just a tough spot. We all love the game. We all love to see those guys perform. But at the same time, people's livelihoods are being destroyed. Their quality of life is diminishing, and it's leading to death. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough, man, and it sucks for his family, and it sucks for all the families that have been impacted. Like I feel like the first time it ever really punched me in the gut was Junior Seau.
Yeah.
When he said he committed suicide, shot himself in the chest just so they could study his brain post death, like just to see what this whole thing is about. Like I was like, man, that's crazy, man. He was suffering that much that one, he didn't want to live anymore, but two, he wanted to have an opportunity for them to kind of prevent this for the future, So I mean, yeah, it just sucks, man.
Wilson.
Like Ray said, it's tragic. Obviously, every time we hear about a player, a player and their families dealing with, the aftermath of CTE, and it's just reminders is as much as medically, like science is advancing. There's still so much like with this, they just don't know about. This is not nearly enough at this point. And I hope there's some improvement or breakthroughs in it going forward. But obviously, like Ray said, like just it's one of those things with every man that decides to play that sport on that level, like right, they're literally getting in car crashes several times every game. It's I just hope that they find a way, if there is a way, to mitigate and limit this in some shape, fashion, or form, man. Because I'm with you guys. I think the first time it really did me was with Junior Seau. And even like in this case, and obviously I don't know enough to say the doctor's wrong or anything else, like anything like that, for him to say that it's not CTE, but it's just a reminder, like we just don't know. I'm sure no one knows enough about it yet. Like it's not one of those things where you've had that many cases, or like what's it called? We just had it where the NFL really just started even fully addressing it publicly, and within like the last 20 years or so. The league's been around for a lot longer than 20 years, so I just hope that there's some type of breakthroughs in that type of research, because it's sad. It's very sad each and every time.
I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, just like you both said, it's always heartbreaking to hear these type of stories. And again, and I agree with you guys. The Junior Seau thing was definitely the first one that kind of like, for me, put it on the map to show how serious it really was. And like you said, like the NFL didn't talk about it a lot, and I feel like, granted, they started talking about it a little bit more, but I think they really need to start talking about it a lot more. Because it's crazy to me that $1 billion entity like the NFL, they should be involved in more in this. They should be more involved in trying to figure out donating to certain causes that can help, progress the study of it, to figure out what doctors can do. Like somebody needs to put like their money on the line, because I mean, granted, like you guys said, if this continues to go this way, and who knows how more prevalent it becomes, because like you said, the league's been around for years and years and years, and we didn't really start hearing about it until like the last 20 years. So, and it's crazy because I really feel like what it is like a lot of the players now are a lot bigger, faster, stronger, so people are getting hit even harder and harder and harder and harder, and it's only going to get worse as time goes on. And like you said, people having to actually contemplate, is risk over reward. It's like, do I risk my life to get this place where I've always wanted to be and play in the NFL and do all these things and change my life financially and everything? Because that's, most of the times that's what it's about. I'm not saying that's what it's always about for all these players, but that's a big part of it. So I think the NFL needs to be a lot more hands-on, a lot more involved with it, with the research, because like, granted, they're billionaires. These owners are billionaires, and they should be able to set aside some of those $1 billion of funds, all the revenue the league gets from TV and media and all these things, where they should have something at this point. And if they do, maybe I just don't know about it, but they should have something where it's more out in the open of knowing about what you guys are doing to try to combat this, what steps they can try to take. I mean, I know they are doing like, trying to try out different helmets and things. I know they're doing like testing on helmets and stuff to try to mitigate. And then we know the rules, the targeting rules and everything, to try to minimize the damage. But it's hard to do that. We see that every Sunday. You see players are just in the moment and they're on 100, and it's hard to draw that back in the heat of the moment. So I just think that a lot more needs to be done. As heartbreaking as it is to hear about it, we need to hear about it. We all need to feel something about it, because it's sad. I mean, he was 33, about to turn 34. That's crazy. Like, he's my age. And to think that, he possibly lost his life. Again, I don't know 100% with the whole CT diagnosis, but he could have possibly lost his life from playing a game in a sense. So I just hope that, more studies and more research can be done to find some type of way to mitigate it, or who knows if we'll even have an NFL in years and years and years to come.
Yeah, Junior Seau was a major one, but one that was basically my age was Chris Henry. It happened like right after I got done with college, and whether he jumped or got thrown from a pickup truck, domestic violence type of situation. He died from that. The Chiefs, former Chiefs, I believe linebacker Javon Belcher shot himself. I think he did. Yeah, he shot and killed his girlfriend first, and then drove to the facility and killed himself.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I remember that.
Man, and I'm just trying to name names. Aaron Hernandez, how can we forget all the stuff he went through? All that they say was traced back to CTE and him bugging and stuff like that. Andre Ward, safety for the Eagles, hard hitting safety, man. Like the one thing you find in common when you really go down the line of all the players that died and donated their brain to the NFL and they found out they had CTE, the majority of them ended up killing themselves because they couldn't deal with the concussions, the pain, just the constant stuff that go along with it. And honestly, I'm not sure if anything can be done because anyone will tell you your brain is not supposed to take hits like that. It's just not supposed to move. It's soft tissue. It's just soft tissue in the skull. And look, they've improved equipment, resources, medical, everything has improved dramatically, but clearly it's still not enough, man. Demarius just really retired, a few years back, so he's current. But I feel for the old time players when they ain't really had nothing. Like, dog, look how many, and I can only imagine what they had, the damage they had on their brain. I was listening to a Warren Sapp interview recently, and he was just like, he already know he has CTE. He got to leave notes around the house to remind him of certain things that he said back in the day. He just remember off that he always had a sharp memory. He forget stuff, so you got to leave notes to remind him to do certain things around the house or whatnot. So yeah, he already at peace with the fact I got it. I think he said he already, say yeah, donate my brain with whenever I pass or whatnot, and he just moving forward doing the best he can with it, man. It's like a price you have to pay. Them and boxers. I would love to see how many boxers had because I know boxers are living with it. It's like, especially guys that really went through wars, if they live, they can't. Motor skills just slowly start to deteriorate. They can't barely talk, slurred speeches or whatnot, can barely walk and function. It's tough. It takes its toll, man. And I remember when I was a young and Barry Sanders retired. They were just like, "Wow, man, you at the top of your powers." And I think he saw the writing on the wall. He was just like, "They not trying to win. I'm up here running my ass off, literally running for my life. Eventually, I'm gonna try to juke, and I ain't moving as quick as I once was, and somebody gonna blast me, and that may be it. You know what I mean? And now I'm dude with CT, so I applaud guys like that had enough sense to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna run myself literally into the ground, like literally, and they don't appreciate me. They're not doing everything they can to win. I've had enough. I'm gonna walk away while I still can. You know what I mean? I'm still able to function, still have my bearings and whatnot. But it's sad, man. Like I seriously, anybody go do your own research and just look at the players who have known to have CTE once they pass. Uh, the majority of them die hard, and it's sad. But the NFL got to do something because, like Ray said, if I had a son, it'd be like no go. And now, looking back at my mom when I was like, "Mom, I'm trying to box," and she was like, "No, like Ali's the greatest," and look at him. And I'm like, man, being a young kid, just like, come on, man, let me try. She like, no. She was looking ahead, being a parent. And now that I'm a parent, I get it. Because that's the last thing you want to see is your kid just commit suicide or struggling, man. And it's like, damn, man, I could have stepped in, tried to stop all that. That's like the worst thing, man. It's just, and then on top of that, the way the NFL paid players and take care of them, is it really worth it? I mean, you can love it as much as you want, but is it really worth it? So, and then you got to keep a certain physicality or the quality of the game won't be the same. Then there'd be no point in having a league.
Right.
So they have some tough decisions to make, man. It is what it is. We're going to move on. Stay with it. Some more sad news. Officials say President Joe Biden has read WNBA star Brittany Griner's handwritten letter. Griner's appeal to President Joe Biden and the handwritten letter continued to garner reaction Tuesday. after the WNBA All-Star acknowledged she feared never returning home, as Biden to not forget about me and the other American detainees. Griner's letter was delivered through a representative to the White House on Monday, and officials say the president has read it. However, Griner's wife, Sherelle, said Tuesday on the Morning Saucer that she hasn't heard from Biden. White House Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre was asked repeatedly about Griner on Tuesday. During the regular briefing, she said Biden read the letter, but she did not detail his reaction. She said this is very personal to him. Jean-Pierre did not say whether there were plans for Biden to speak with Griner's family, but did say that National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken both spoke to Griner's wife recently. Jean-Pierre said Biden wanted to get Griner and other Americans home. We are going to use every tool we possibly can to make that happen, Jean-Pierre said it. Wilson, start with you. Just what are your thoughts on that?
It's just it was disturbing at first. Initially when it happened, it became sad and increasingly more so every day since she's been detained. I know, I've seen a lot of people write stuff like, oh, if it was a different athlete, they'd already be gone and all this stuff. Like, oh, that's not how the world works with some of these things, man. You can name your favorite athlete, like, and as bad as you want it, they'd be in the same place right now, too. All right. Some stuff, like, there's some places in life where wherever you are doesn't supersede where you are. This is one of those times. Like I think we've all, have hoped for or prayed for, just hope that they get her back ASAP. But again, these type of situations, even if it wasn't her, and I love, she's obviously a great person to bring up other detainees as well. Like, it takes a while for these things to come to be complete. No matter who it is, it takes a while to be complete. And then, like Cardell, you've brought up several times, anytime we've talked about this, think about the world's current climate. Like, this is, we all want a resolution to this. It's hopefully it happens sooner than later, but I don't know. Like, I just truly don't know. It's very sad. I wish her the best to keep her strength during all this. It was sad reading the tidbits of the letter that had come out with it, seen on Twitter. It's very sad and heartbreaking to read all of that. But yeah, man, and I know, again, I know the time that we're in where people always want to fire off about stuff, especially when they don't know about it, that things should be happening a certain way. And like, I just hope and pray that they can come to a very quick resolution for her and the other detainees that she's mentioned. But some of the stuff y'all out here saying, like, y'all gotta stop. Some of it's kind of nuts.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, this story just always makes me sad. It's just really heartbreaking. But like you said, it sucks that unfortunately it could happen to a lot of people. It just so happens that she's kind of in the public eye, so it's kind of more in the forefront. But again, like you said, with the climate that's going on, the war that Russia is involved in, everything that's happening in the United States, it's just so touchy to talk about and to really know what needs to happen. The only thing that I personally just kind of focused in was just praying for her and her family, because I feel like that's all I can really do. That's all I really have, any type of control over. To see the pictures of her, like, going to her court date and the trial and everything, and just knowing that, as hard as we fight for trials here in America, and we know how crazy and crooked they can be, imagine it in Russia. Like, it's just wild to know that she could potentially get locked up for 10 years over there. Who knows? So it's just really, really such a sad situation. I'm glad that her story is at least out there. That the president is, reading her letters, and hopefully he'll talk to her wife and her family, and they get to some type of resolution, because it just feels like she's like a pawn at this point, her and the other detainees, just with the world's climate right now. So it's just really sad that, that she had to, first of all, be in that situation to be over there in the first place. We'll talk about that at a later time, because that's a whole nother situation that, had she not had the need to go play overseas, she may not even be in the situation that she's in now. But that's another story for another day. But at the same time, it's just really sad and heartbreaking that, you know, she's stuck in a situation like that, and especially like if you don't have like you don't really know what's going on, so it's kind of hard to hope and believe and pray and try to figure out what you can do when you just. I would just assume she kind of feels defeated at this point. I mean, to be locked up over there since February, and I mean it's almost August, you know, so it's just real sad.
Right.
Yeah, man. It definitely sucks. You know, I'm on the same wave as Wilson. Like, I'm not a political strategist. I don't know what goes into this situation and the resolution of it. I just want her home as soon as possible. You know, so I'm not going to speak to who should be doing what or what is and isn't happening. I really don't care about the details. She just needs to be home with her family, man, because you know just the tone of the letter, and it just speaks to somebody just trying to hold their sanity together, man. You know, and I can only imagine what she's going through in that situation. Being locked up abroad over something so trivial, it's just a crazy situation all around, man. And you know, hopefully it gets resolved sooner rather than later. But yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah, I'm with y'all, man. Especially when Putin's spokesperson basically came out like said like, yo, she's not a hostage, you know, she a criminal, she broke the law. He's like, there's plenty of Americans over here walking the streets free because they haven't broken any laws. That just tell you, you know, their mindset. Like them boys over there don't play. Like that's just, you know, going all the way back to college. The OGs that were playing overseas, they let us know the real about certain pockets of across that water where it's like you gotta be very careful. Like who you dealing with, like certain teams, if you don't get paid, just come home. Like you don't even they owned by mob bosses, Russian mob bosses, you'll disappear. You know what I mean? Bucking and stuff like that. It's just known. And that's why you have to be careful over there. I don't like how certain females who emotional, because it's really females saying that associate with the WNBA, kind of saying like if it was LeBron James, it wouldn't be. No, Putin's at war right now, and this is an opportunity to mess with the United States. So if LeBron was over there, anybody, he definitely would make sure to jam them up. You know what I'm saying? To really hold them hostage. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. I'm pretty sure America won't go over there and really go at it, but it's delicate because if they go over there hard, what can happen to Brittany and a lot of other Americans that they have? That's why it's very delicate, man. You know, that's why you remember at first they were saying like, "Yo, don't be talking about it on social media." Like, but people was like, "Well, we got to talk about it, otherwise nothing can happen." These political matters are crazy, and Putin don't play. He's a different animal. You know, like the former guy that occupied the White House. He did a lot of that. This guy about that action, he don't play. Like, look what he's doing. He's bombing like hospitals in Ukraine. He's not playing, and you know what I mean. So they're delaying trials, they're delaying everything just to make her life a living hell. That's why when it happened, I knew it would get bad, and I was just like, man, I'm not even worried about her just playing basketball no more. I'm worried about her just getting home and keeping her head. You know what I mean? Because it's about to get real, and it is. It just is, man. And all you can, it's crazy because Biden can do all he want. He can reach out and all that. He can exercise every tool he want. Putin don't move. What he gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
So like Putin's the type, man. You gotta, in a sense, you gotta just go over there and rough it. And to do that, it's gonna get ugly. You know what I mean? Because then he gonna want to come over here and do some things. You know what I'm saying? So it's very delicate. So, man, all we can do is pray for the best, man. Hope she get home soon, man, because it is crazy. It really is. And our last question, yeah, y'all know we had to talk about it. Mr. Kevin Durant, fresh trade from the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, you know we had to talk about this. We can't, come on now. And a decision that could transform the NBA for years to come. KD has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets through his business manager, Rich Kleiman. Nets general manager Sean Marks is working with Durant and Kleiman on finding a trade. as reported. Not only is it incredibly rare of a player Durant's caliber, obviously, to be moved in a deal, what makes it even tougher is he literally just signed a 4-year extension last August. It's not even a year into the new contract. And so whichever team trades for him will have Durant services until 2026. Rumors are Phoenix Suns and Miami Heat are among the teams Durant has on his wish list for potential trade. However, obviously the Nets are not tied to honoring any of Durant's preferred destinations, and they making plans to do what's best for them. So, man, what are your thoughts on this, man? Ray, we're gonna start with you.
Man, this is this is foolishness all around, man. Like, and it's been that way for a while with this team. Uh, they they don't have to be here right now. They could have solved a lot of this last year, because I mean, a lot of the situation is tied into Kyrie not getting a long-term deal. But I mean, dude, like you're gonna you guys came there, and at this point, you haven't lived up to your end of the bargain. If we're being completely honest,
Mhm.
you know, um, you came there, you got the coach you wanted, you got all the players you wanted. The team capitulated to you in every way possible, and you've given them one playoff series win and a sweep and a whole lot of extra foolishness. I think they're well within their rights to say, hey, man, go ahead and opt in. And if you do what you came here to do this 1 year, next year, it's whatever, man. Like, just, because at that point, you're getting what you paid for. But, for them to to try to strong arm the organization like this, like it's just ridiculous, man. And all this player empowerment stuff, like that's just code language for no accountability and people being spoiled and getting whatever they want. You know, and I'm not siding with owners at all. I'm siding with people being mature professional athletes. That's what I'm siding with. And this is not mature and this is not professional how this situation is unfolded. I love KD, I love Kyrie, I love both of them as basketball players, but they they dug themselves in a hole and are trying to put it on the organization to dig them out. Like, how how dare you come to the table with demands at this point? Like, seriously, man. Like, it's just crazy. And it's what's even more crazy is people are championing this behavior. Like, but yeah, y'all gonna find out the next round of CBA negotiations, because this is stupid, man. Like, no no one side, owners or players, should wield that much power over the other, where we just got to do what you want. And I know people don't live in reality, but NBA players are employees. Bottom line, they're employees. So the day you show me you can go to your job and dictate to your boss, that's when I'll be like, all right, cool, let them dudes do whatever they want. But that's just not the world we live in, man. So people gotta grow up, man. And again, I love KD's one of the best in the world, no doubt. But yeah, dog, you want some other stuff in this situation. And your running buddy, like, if it was up to me, he'd have been traded last year. And no, and it has nothing to do with his personal decision regarding the vaccine. It's just that I hired you to play basketball, and due to your personal decision, you weren't able to do that. So this is a business. I'm going to make a business move. I'm going to trade you and get what I can in return, and then we both move forward. You get to play every game wherever you go, and I get some pieces in return so I can compete. Plain and simple, man. Like, anything beyond that, it's just extra noise.
Yeah, man, you ain't lying. All I tell people when they side with that BS, I just say, well, if you own a company, can somebody come and dictate to you how to work under you? It's crickets after that. So, Wilson.
Yeah, I was, obviously been talking to a lot of people about this just because everybody else wants to talk about it, right? It feels like the Debo thing to me on steroids, right? Where the only difference is Debo had, like, they're both still in the contract. Debo has 1 more year left. Kevin re-upped for 4, which is why sometimes, and I know people don't like it because everybody likes when stuff's exciting and it's fun and news is out there. Sometimes stuff is just a bunch of noise, man. When you break this stuff down and just look at it realistically, again, just and obviously Debo in his sport isn't Kevin in his sport. That said, cool, whatever. But Debo wanted out only because he wanted to get paid when he wanted to get paid versus the team paying him when the team was going to pay him. Guess where we are right now? He is currently a member of the San Francisco 49ers. Training camp starts in July. They normally do business in terms of extending deals in July. We will see what happens this month. When the draft was about to come, the Niners were like, oh, he put a trade out there. Here's the price. You give us the world, you can have Deebo Samuel. The league was like, there's some nice, fine young receivers this year. I guess we can draft and maybe we can do some Deebo-like things. Oh, you want multiple first? Okay. So fast forward to this, right? Kevin requests a trade. That's cool. I'm going to leave flat earth out of this for the minute. Kevin requests a trade. Cool, that's great. Rudy Gobert gets dealt. We just saw what moved in the Rudy Gobert deal. Cardell has this saying, when certain people move, leagues feel it. The last time this dude moved, according on his free will, the league felt it. This time, all you can do is request a trade. And again, this is why some of it feels so hollow. You were perfectly aware you had a no trade clause in that deal when you re-upped. So, like, and this is something I guess we'll find out in time. Is you requesting a trade is it requesting a trade instead of just telling your manager you don't want to play with him anymore? Like what exactly is this? Because in terms of you being moved, we're talking about it might take 3-14 deal, all this other like Herschel Walker type level trade. Like, you know, it's going to take a lot of stuff because of contractually. I know I see a lot of people on the internet. Oh man, you can flip, bam, you can flip. You can't move either to Brooklyn. Welcome back to reality. You can't. There's a rule in the CBA. Both of them are on 5-year rookie extensions. You can't move them. You can't have both. You can't bring in 2 of those players to your team. You would have to move Ben and then go do all that other stuff. And that throws another wrench in all of this. Mm-hmm. There's 2 teams in the league that could possibly do this without the help of other people. Golden State, which I'm pretty sure they're not about to go do this. They've been there, done that. Things worked out. That's great. They just won a championship. And or Toronto. And if you're Toronto, you don't have to do any of this. And there's another option. This is something that happened today earlier, and then I'll be quiet. Like, we watched the Nets just go, like, it was quiet for a little while. They just been quietly going about their business, adding pieces to their team, like none of this stuff is happening. Like, there's a legit chance, like, you're under contract for 4 years, right? You'll probably be a Brooklyn Net once training camp starts. As for your running mate, I don't know. I don't care. That's not my problem. That's a whole other issue. But I think what's about to happen, and I low-key, this is like when he made the trade request, I didn't even feel like there was a bite to it. I felt like it was one of those things, like, instead of telling your guy, because we've never seen you really just, like, do that, say this is it, kind of like Jalen Rose said it, credit to him, he's just pretty much breaking up with Kyrie. I don't think he's leaving Brooklyn. That's it. Like, I think it's a whole bunch of noise, but how can you, like, I'm sure a lot of the league would like to have him, right? Your team's going to have nothing. So then if you're him, right, what's the point of getting traded? And then the team you go to has less than the Nets. Just somebody take 2 seconds to think about all this out loud. Now, what's most likely? What's more likely? You keep the guy who came to you by way of the guy you didn't really want to deal with, and you get rid of the guy you don't want to deal with. Dude signed a 4-year deal with no trade clause.
200, 198.
Again, so and if you're the Nets, because you get to dictate the price of what it costs, I'm not trading with Phoenix if Brooks is off the table. I'm not trading with Miami, and I can't have your best young promise. So how many trades are left? Let's be real honest. How many trades are left?
None.
Cool, great. We'll see you in training camp, Kevin. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Like, it's Devo, I'm going to see you in July, too. Like, I don't know what we're doing here, man. I get it. Like,
I'll tell you.
Like, he signed a 4-year deal, y'all.
He did. I remember
It's
when
like if it was the Kyrie thing, he would have been traded already. That's an expiring. He locked in for 4 years, 198 with no out. Bro, Brooklyn has to be upstairs just laughing like, we can get rid of the headache, and you're here. And like Debo, like Kevin, do we really think either one of them about to just miss doing what they love? All right, cool, man. Thanks for playing. Like, I don't get this.
I have just 3 things. That's it. One, the CBA is gonna be lit. When that happens, it's just gonna be lit. Like, I can't wait for it to start. Like, they need to live stream that. Second of all, this is ghetto. This is ghetto. This whole situation is ghetto, okay? KD and Kyrie, y'all are ghetto. I just can't. And then if I was the Nets, like you said, I would be sitting there where? Who? For what? And then I wouldn't even care about where he wanted to go. The whole, I want to go to Miami. Because I read something and it could have been fake or whatever, but I read something that was he wants to play with Jimmy, Bam, Kyle, and somebody else. I can't remember. So that was how do you think all of them are going to still be there if you go there? Make it make sense. When I saw this, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then, like you said, you just re-up. You just signed a 4-year, and like you said, not even a full year ago. So, again, this is just all ghetto. I just wish that they would figure it out. Kevin, and then, I'm sorry, I just don't like the whole, I'm just going to go to a team that's, almost there, and I'm going to just be that person and make us win a championship. It's you're not, I feel like he kind of keeps flip-flopping what he's trying to do. First, I want to be the guy, to do it. I can't be the guy, so let me go be with this team and let somebody else be the guy. I wasn't there. Oh, and everybody's talking about me because I wasn't the guy. Let me go here. I'm going to be the guy. It's too hard. I can't be the guy. Let me go find somewhere else where I don't have to be the guy. It's what are we doing here? So, again, CBA is going to be lit, and this is ghetto, and I just wish that they would figure it out. It's just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, a lot of layers to it for me, and then this will be it. Well, one, if I'm the Nets, if you want Kevin or Kyrie, cool. I need your top 2 players, and I need first round picks till about 2050. We good after that. I'm gonna F your franchise up, dog. I would never recover, never. And once I put that out there, they won't even call me no more. Cool. Kevin, y'all know my saying. You gotta have uncomfortable conversations sometimes, man. If you're trying to win as a team, Kevin got man up. He gotta be scared. He can't just be trying to avoid conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You can't avoid conflict in team sports. Your man, that's your. And the thing is, you avoiding responsibility by trying to duck out and with this little trade request. That's your man. You brought him in here. We've given you everything. Your coach, players, everything that has happened with the Brooklyn Nets since you done came aboard. We consulted you with. You sign off. We done did it. The Brooklyn Nets, the only thing wrong with them is that this is a perfect example of when these dudes be like, look, hey, we play in the league. We can do your job. They don't have a damn clue about that side of the side of the coin as far as professional basketball. They don't have a clue. And this is a big example of why you shouldn't kiss these players' ass. You just shouldn't. Because this is what can happen. Now, I don't know how many examples you need. You kiss these players ass, get them everything they want so they can win. But when they up and roll, you're gutted. You're gutted for a long time. Cleveland is just recovering from when LeBron left.
Mm-hmm.
They just re-up with Garland. They got Jared Allen, all that stuff. Listen, you signed DeAndre Jordan. See, they ain't bringing up all that stuff. That was KD and the man. They brought DeAndre Jordan and traded Jared Allen, who's become an all-star. DeAndre Jordan is done. Couldn't get on the floor for the Sixers. That's you. You did that. The Brooklyn Nets had some going with a young core. Jared Allen, them young boys, Karis LeVert, they were young. They was building. They was growing, similar to what they doing in Cleveland. You came on board, all they got shipped out. They give you everything you wanted, and now you still want to duck out? Like, you look suspect. I defended KD with the Warriors. I can't do it no more. And I'm not these dudes around here who just want to kiss his ass and all that. Like, dog, wrong is wrong. You got to be a professional. You got to man up at some point. You want to be called, you want to be you want people to carry it for you like you the franchise guy, but you ducking the main thing about being a franchise guy, leading. You have to lead. Like this would have been nipped out about Kyrie. Look, Kyrie, your personal preference. You don't want to take this vaccination. But if you ain't gonna play, don't be a distraction. Disappear. Like that's what it would have been. You know what I mean? And it's not just the vaccination. It's literally since Kyrie has demanded a trade from the Cavs, it's always been some ish, man. It's just it gets to the point, whether it's fair or not, when it's consistently some issue upon issue after issue upon issue. It's like, dog, we don't want to hear you talk no more. It's enough. Enough is enough, man. It's always some BS, man. Just go away, dog. Especially in a team sport where the other guys have to rely on you. And then, by all accounts, he comes in there, once he is clear, they're like, the mayor, like, yeah, you can go play. He in there barking like he a leader. Ain't nobody going to respect you. I want to hear what you guys say. We've been here grinding the whole time, dog. Look, dog, get over there, bro. Like, we don't want to hear you. So, like, I'm gonna swing on you. Get away from me. And that's the harmony. KD don't like drama. We know that. He don't like drama. He likes to go away and wish it away and stuff like that. You can't do that all the time. That's just part of being a man. Some stuff you got to meet head on. And this would have been one joint you made. Look, bro, like, you got to get it together or tell Sean to trade your ass. And if that ruined the friendship, so cool. But you being an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, people get mad at the leadership, Draymond, and how you got to be in Jordan. Now they're starting to see you got to kind of be that way. Especially the egos of professional athletes and the money they're making. You can't be nice like, hey, Kyrie, come on, guy. He just showed up to practice. Just give us all you got. He ain't gonna respect you, all that. But if you get up in this place, like, stop being a bitch and play, like, let's go, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now his manhood on the line. He gonna do it out of spite. Mm-hmm. So it just gets to that point, man. Like, bro, like if this is not an example of why these teams you can't just bend hand and knee over for these players, man, because you just don't know what they're gonna do, dog. Like, and they can leave you hanging and you looking like boo-boo the fool, man. And the thing is, the owner gonna be there, but a lot of guys gonna lose their jobs after this because the team is built to win now. You got the franchise when you roll, they have nothing, then they gotta rebuild. Heads gonna roll. And it's sad that these players don't even consider all that when they do all that. This is a simple fix. Kyrie, though, and this is really KD in a sense being mad at Kyrie when he tried to check the market for him, which shows his delusion. Like, anybody would want his ass after what he done put the Nets through last year. Like, are you serious, bro? You really think somebody gonna give you $200 million to come and do the same stuff? Like, what world are you living in? And he saw nobody was messing with him. So then, I'm gonna opt in, man. We're good. Even his delusion after the season, like, yeah, me, Kevin, you know, we, Mark and Steve, we gonna get together and just see about the direction of what? Again, what makes you think I want to hear you talk, dog? All I want to see you do is who. Like who, bro? And I would say that. Don't ask me no questions about Kyrie. I don't care. Like, I don't care if he average 100 next year. I'm gonna be in the crowd just like this. I don't care. Like, that's how much. Like, the only Irving, if I'm Sean Marks, the only Irving I acknowledge is Julius moving forward. I don't care. I don't want to hear from him, dog. That's how done they should be with this dude. You know what I'm saying? But Kevin, it's a simple fix. Check your man, or tell Sean get him up out of there. And then with Kyrie, it's simple because he's on an expired deal. Teams will be calling, and you can get something back. It's simple. It's really simple, man. But he trying to duck that, and I don't get it, dog. And now you stuck with your contract. Who will want you? And you have the reputation. I don't know if you're gonna really be here, even if we do trade for you. And like Wilson said, you being traded, I'm sure the Nets gonna gut this team, so you won't come to a lottery team. Mm-hmm. Then you want to get traded again because you like, I don't want to waste my prime years and all that. Like, dude, what do these dudes want, bro? They so emotional. They just make emotional, rational decisions. Sit your ass down, check this fool, and get back to hooping, man. It's a really simple fix, man. It's not that difficult, man. Wilson, it's on you, but dog, I can't even defend him, man. I can't defend him no more. Like, people been giving me, what's up with your man KD, dog? This dude, brother, you a sir. I'm like, hey, man. Your guess.
Everyone
talking about Hey, my phone is on Do Not Disturb. I bet it is.
Everybody involved is grown, man. Like again, and this is why again, to me the trade request was so hollow. Like you're hoping that he leaves to get, you know what I'm saying, to like resolve the situation. Just tell him about himself. That's all this is. Because it doesn't make the words that came out don't match how the franchise is moving. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to move you. They are literally trying to add pieces around you and Ben. That's it. People are like, oh, they signed TJ Warren and Royce, and they went to get Royce O'Neal. Yeah, the Royce O'Neal things make sense because you're trying to fix this. You're trying to fix the things that you found out you needed when you got swept. You're trying to make your team better, right? So cool. You don't get and think about this. Be real honest. Again, staying in this reality place, and I'm gonna shut up. We'll close the show. If you're TJ Warren, you're pretty much just trying to go anywhere in the league where you can get opportunity to prove that you're healthy again, so you can get back on the market and make some money. Are you trying to tell me Brooklyn was at the top of your list without Kevin, Ben, what have you? That was at the top of your list in the whole league. That was at the top of your list, right? You didn't sign that thinking that dude was going. You signed that nope. But anyways. Y'all stay with the noise and y'all stay in that place. That just doesn't make sense. Because I know if I'm TJ Warren and y'all about to be gutted, right, I'll slide right over to the Bay like I will take Otto's contract. There's a spot in the rotation. I don't mind. Like there's a laundry list of places I'm looking at. Hey, Mr. Stevens, you got room? Like, bruh.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Cut you off, bro. I don't want to hear this from NBA players talking about we know more, we don't need coaches, we know the GM front office. It's a whole different ball game. I'm serious, yo. It's a whole different ball game that they have to evaluate. You gotta respect what they're doing. They call it the player entitlement area. The empowerment area. I call it the player entitlement area. It's just too much entitlement. Y'all need to get back to hooping. Because these owners, and I know the owners going to jam, they're going to go after them hard because they're not even saying nothing. Normally, a lot of owners are talking and stuff. It's like they all on one text message like, see this kid shit?
CBA about to be lit.
Wait till the Jones up. We got about one more season. We good. And we going to make this shit like the NFL. Oh, contracts going to be on toilet paper. I'm serious. Oh, that $200 million, top players back to 50. You might get that. Like, are we gonna hurt them? Especially coming off the pandemic. Everybody in the world took L's except for NBA players. Everybody had to take an L. And then y'all pulling it, bruh. Like, it's not. They gotta get out their bubble and people they hang around, they just kiss their ass all day and really get out in the real world and see what's going on, man. Because the way they move and think is just beyond crazy. And I don't want to hear this. You don't know what's going on. Man, we cover the league, man. We know enough to put two and two together, dog. And bottom line, it just comes down to dudes not being accountable for their F-ups, man. You really think leading the team to the championship is this easy? Look what Steph was going through the last couple of years. Clay gone. He injured. You know what I'm saying? Trade for Wiggins and all those guys. They got to rebuild with some youngins. They thought it was over once Kevin. Look, as great as that team was, when Kevin left, it messed them up. So they was like, oh, they done with Kevin gone? Yeah. Because they were so top heavy. Sean Livingston retired. All those guys, they done. Iguodala left. Oh, they done, man. They ain't going to get back to it. But they got great leadership over there. Steph, Draymond, all them bounced right back and got a championship before you can even win a playoff series. Like, you won one playoff series in that span, bro. Yes, the spotlight is red. It's red hot on y'all, dog. And not even y'all. I'm talking about Kevin. Kyrie, I'm done with him. I don't even care, bro. I don't care. Because really, the only thing holding you down is you hit that shot with LeBron. Because if you ain't do that, then what? Remember that debate with him and Allen Iverson? I'm like, don't even put him in the breath of Allen Iverson. With all the drama Allen Iverson had, I know my man He's going to show up and give me 30. He going to show up, man. I know that. I'm good. So, bro, man, the thing is, they're supposed to be this is my last one. I'm stopped. They're supposed to be making it better and building the league up for the next generation of players that's a high school that's coming and stuff like that. They're gonna F around and mess it up. They're gonna really mess up the money and mess up these opportunities, all because of ego and thinking the world owes them something. It's man, these new dudes, man. It is what it is.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. We were so happy to be back. As always, follow the Focus TV and all your social media mediums. Friday nights, DCTV, 10 p.m. Wednesday mornings on our Roku channel. Again, the Roku television device. All you have to do is add Roku channel and type in Roku channel. Type in the Focus TV in the search box. Double click OK. See, been off for 2 weeks. I don't even remember how this goes. Double click OK, and you'll add the channel and get our pretty much a weekly content. Obviously, this weekly show, you guys saw Cardell and Ray talk about the Kenner League earlier. Ray was talking about the Mystics Outlook, all that good stuff. Going to be back with our NFL wrap-up show as we get closer to training camp. Not about to be out here screaming into the void with no content about nothing. Wait till people show up and give us a lot to talk about. So you guys enjoy this week. We'll see you next week. And thank you, as always, for tuning in.